Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. India to witness history in the making as Prime Minister designate Modi is set to take office for a third consecutive term. Rashtrapati Bhavan is all decked up for the historic event. Leaders from India's neighborhood arrive expressing support for India's neighborhood first policy. European nations to finish voting today to determine the shape and form of the European Parliament over the next 5 years. And the much anticipated T20 World Cup clash between India and Pakistan to take place in New York tonight. Americans to see cricket rivalry at its best. Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi will create history on Sunday, that's later today, when he takes oaths of office and secrecy for a third consecutive term. Narendra Modi will become only the second Prime Minister in India's history to do so after Jawaharlal Nehru in 1962. The country's democracy has matured into a multi-party system.
On the 9th of June 2024, history will be made. It will be the first time in 62 years that an Indian Prime Minister takes oath for a third consecutive term.
प्रधानमंत्री जवाहरलाल नेहरू 3 बार वो भी प्रधानमंत्री हुए थे और उसके 62 साल बाद ये प्रक्रिया दोहराई जा रही है। इस 62 साल में हिंदुस्तान में कितनी राजनीतिक परिपक्वताएं आई, कितनी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस आए, क्या-क्या यहाँ का वातावरण बना।
National Democratic Alliance leaders have expressed their unwavering support to Prime Minister Modi as he sets into motion a third term at the helm of an NDA government. MPs, both youthful and seasoned, look forward to the next 5 years.
फ्लोर लीडर की जिम्मेदारी है, वो जिम्मेदारी के साथ जो है हम लोग काम करेंगे, सभी एमपीज को साथ में लेके, सभी पार्टीज से जो है समन्वय रखकर।
सच में एक हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट है, इसलिए सारे देश से कार्यकर्ता आने के लिए बहुत ही उत्सुक है। सबको हम एकोमोडेट नहीं कर पा रहे। बंगाल से भी हजारों की संख्या में कार्यकर्ता यहाँ पे आना चाहते हैं। मोदी जी को तीसरी बार के लिए प्रधानमंत्री का शपथ लेते हुए देखना चाहते हैं।
Not only in West Bengal, BJP leaders in Kerala have expressed confidence that the southern state has now opened its doors wide to the BJP.
It was a game changer election this time. The 7 decades bipolar politics now turned to tripolar. And moreover, we have increased our vote share to 20%. Comfortable victory in Trichur, got 1 MP, and Attingal, Trivandrum, Alapi and many constituencies, we crossed 3. Our vote share has increased. So this was a game changer election. People accepted Narendra Modi's development politics.
With world leaders from India's neighborhood scheduled to attend the event, Delhi police have set up a control room on Kartavya Path, the historic road that joins India Gate to Rashtrapati Bhavan. On June 9 evening at Rashtrapati Bhavan, Prime Minister Modi, followed by his Council of Ministers, will also take their oaths of office and secrecy, forming the new cabinet and political executive of the Government of India. Bureau Report, DD India.
And South Asian and African leaders will also be attending Prime Minister Modi's inauguration in New Delhi on Sunday evening local time. It reflects India's policies of neighborhood first and security and growth for all in the region. Anu Kaushik reports.
The stage is all set for the swearing-in ceremony of Narendra Modi as India's Prime Minister for a third historic term. Keeping in line with the country's neighborhood-first policy, leaders from India's neighborhood will be attending the event in New Delhi on Sunday. Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu, Seychelles Vice President Ahmed Afif, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Mauritius PM Pravind Kumar Jugnauth, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Nepal PM Pushp Kamal Dahal, and Bhutan PM Tshering Tobgay. The leaders will also be attending a banquet hosted by President Draupadi Murmu at the Rashtrapati Bhavan the same evening. The presence of regional leaders at the oath-taking ceremony will also highlight India's Sagar or security and growth for all in the region vision, which focuses on maritime cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. This is not the first time neighborhood first gained paramount importance at high-profile official events in India. In 2014, heads of state from South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation or SAARC nations attended the ceremony in which Narendra Modi took oath as India's PM for the first time. Leaders from BIMSTEC or the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation were present at Modi's swearing-in ceremony in 2019. Anu Kaushik for DD India.
Well, Nepalese Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal arrived in New Delhi to attend the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. He was received by the OSD P. Kumaran at the airport. The visit reflects the unique India-Nepal ties and also provides further impetus to the multifaceted relationship between the two countries. Ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi, Bhutan's Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay congratulated the people of India for conducting a successful election. He said that India has seen unprecedented growth in the last 10 years under Prime Minister Modi.
During the last 10 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, India has grown spectacularly in the area of FDI. There's been a lot of FDI, a lot of manufacturing, renewable energy, particularly solar energy, agriculture, poverty alleviation. So to see what's going to happen in Modi 3.0, under Modi 3.0, you just have to look back to see what has happened.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Tobgay also shared his expectations of growth in the relationship between India and Bhutan under Modi 3.0.
Prime Minister Modi has given us unconditional support for the Gelifu Mindfulness City, and then for our development plan. Our economy is still recovering, so he's announced an assistance package of 15 billion rupees, 1,500 crores for our economic stimulus package, and then for our 13th five-year plan, he's announced an assistance package of 8,500 crores. So all this is going to be extremely useful for us, and going forward, we have a lot to do together.
And Jessica Taneja has been following the story. She joins us now with more. Jessica, put into context the presence of world leaders at the oath-taking ceremony.
Well, you heard from the leaders who arrived in India today and some did yesterday as well. Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, had arrived in New Delhi yesterday. One of the first, in fact, also from the region, from the neighborhood, to wish Prime Minister and extend her wishes. And later in the evening at 7 p.m., you'll see all of them join the Prime Minister along with thousands of others to be there and be present at the oath-taking ceremony. An important event in New Delhi today, and the leaders, as you pointed out, Mark, the policy of neighborhood first has been followed not just in 2024, it was the same in 2014 when the Prime Minister was first elected. Back then it was the SAARC regions, the SAARC countries. And now, in fact, in 2024, it's sort of a continuation of the BIMSTEC countries that were invited earlier, barring a few others, and of course also Myanmar. This time you have Maldives, you have Mauritius, and Sri Lanka, along with Nepal, Bhutan. These are important allies of India as well over the years, particularly with Maldives. The slightly strenuous ties seem to be mending, and the relationship seems to be gradually improving, where President Muizzu says he's looking forward to more cooperation with India. and of course a lot more than India and Maldives have been doing in the past years as well. The Sri Lankan president is also here, and India and Sri Lanka have shared a great deal in the past as well, and so those have been there, and all were the allies, so to say, for Sri Lanka as well. You heard from the Bhutanese Prime Minister Shri Doge as well point out where India has helped build critical infrastructure in the country.
Jessica, I need to interrupt you because the quality of the sound is not very clear. But thanks very much for joining us, Jessica, with all those inputs. Now, ahead of the swearing-in ceremony, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Rajghat in New Delhi. Narendra Modi paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi. The memorial is dedicated to the father of the nation. It marks the spot where Mahatma Gandhi was cremated on the 31st of January 1948. It consists of an eternal flame. Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi paid homage to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a former Prime Minister of India, at the Sadaiv Atal Memorial in New Delhi as well. Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi paid tributes to the fallen soldiers at the National War Memorial in New Delhi, along with the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and service chiefs. The Prime Minister signed the visitors' book at the memorial. NDA leaders attended tea at the residence of Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi, who shared his thoughts with the members of the cabinet who will be sworn in today. Well, we have Akshay Dongre joining us. Akshay has been following the story at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Well, Akshay, you know, 9,000 guests are expected. So, I mean, what's the guest list like?
Well, the guest list is quite extensive, Mark. We have foreign leaders coming in, heads of several states, especially from the neighborhood, that have been invited. In fact, many of the neighboring states that have been invited from the very beginning, from the 2014 move that took place under the first tenure of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he decided to invite the SAARC leaders. Then it was the BIMSTEC leaders in 2019, and following those footsteps, Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again for his third swearing-in has decided to invite foreign leaders from countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Maldives, and other countries as well. Now, this is a significant step as far as the foreign policy is concerned, but besides the foreign leaders, we have an extensive list of leaders that have been invited, and they are not just limited to the parliamentarians who have been elected this time around from the NDA, but we also have the opposition leaders that have been invited for the swearing-in ceremony. We have local level leaders, we have several MLAs, member of parliament, that have been elected this time around. We have chief ministers that are coming in. We have several of the local leaders from across the country that are coming in. There are several special dignitaries that have been extended this invite. So as far as this 9,000 figure is concerned, it seems that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in a way invited all the representatives from all the classes, all the sections of the society, to ensure that the swearing-in that takes place is an inclusive one, in a bid to send out a larger message that his third term is also going to be an inclusive tenure, thinking and working towards the needs of each and every section of the society. So right now, let me just show you where I am right now. We are just right outside the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the presidential palace, that has been completely sealed off. There is high-level security, and in fact, several levels of security that has been set up by the Delhi police. In fact, these are some of the exclusive visuals that we can show you on DD India that nobody else has. As far as this particular area is concerned, there are several placards that have been posted. There are several posters of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third tenure talking about how India is walking on a path of development and inclusive growth for the entire country. There you can also see the level of barricading that has been done from here, right at the Vijay Chowk, right outside the Parliament and the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And in a few hours from now, we can expect foreign dignitaries, leaders who all have been invited for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third swearing-in ceremony to start coming in. The swearing-in ceremony is expected to take place somewhere around 7 15 hours today at 7:15 p.m. rather today in the evening, and that is when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be making in sort of way history in about 50 years by being sworn in as the third term straight Prime Minister, getting a clear-cut majority as far as the Parliament of the country is concerned,
right,
with the NDA securing over 290
sure.
seats. So in a way, there are several historic movements that are going to take place today here at Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Akshay, also, you know, what's expected from the banquet hosted by the President later in the evening?
Well, exactly the same, Mark, as the invitation has gone to several leaders. It's not just limited to a particular political party, a particular section, not just the politicians that have been invited for this particular banquet, but a lot of leaders from across the country are expected to take part, along with the foreign dignitaries that have in fact come into the national capital, New Delhi, for this historic movement. So the banquet is going to be in sort of a way a first formal meeting that will be taking place of all the parliamentarians that will be in a way representing the entire country for the next 5 years. So that banquet has been set up, all preparations have been done for that, and soon after the oath taking ceremony is complete, the leaders will be moving towards that banquet that has been hosted by the President of India.
Thanks a lot. Akshay Dongre joining us from outside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And we have Dibyendu Mandal also joining us. He's been following how the government formation is taking place. Dibyendu, give us an idea of who's in, who's likely to be in as far as the Union Council of Ministers is concerned.
Well, Mark, that's right. The list is officially not yet declared, but what the visuals that we have got from the Prime Minister's residence from the meeting that took place between the probable candidates who would be given the Council of Ministers berth in Modi 3.0 government. The probable name, of course, are the 4 top ministers, probably could be Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitharaman, Piyush Goyal, S. Jaishankar, and we also saw Shivraj Singh Chauhan taking the first row seat. So these are some of the big names that are being included in this government. What we have so far from our sources is, of course, there are 63% that is likely to take oath this evening, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. But also the important name includes former Chief Minister of Haryana Manohar Lal Khattar, who would be included into the cabinet. Also there are several other names that are doing the rounds, which includes the TDP alliance partners. What we are given to understand is that 3 berths are going to TDP, 3 to JDU, 1 to Chirag Paswan's LJP, 1 to again from Bihar Jitan Ram Manjhi. So likewise, you see the alliance partners are also given their equal share, given the fact that the alliance of the NDA is very crucial to the government this time around in the Modi 3.0 government. So of course, many new names are making rounds here at the swearing-in ceremony for the Council of Ministers. Some of the ministers who have been retained, of course, includes Hardeep Singh Puri, despite that he did not contest an election. Also, interestingly, Mark, from Punjab, Ravneet Singh Bittu, he lost the election, but despite that, he will be taken into the Council of Ministers by the Modi government, given the fact that the government's focus in Punjab has been, in fact, the government is keeping an eye in Punjab. So, of course, his inclusion is something which everybody is talking about. So, of course, a few names have also been dropped. For example, Anurag Thakur was not seen in the Council of Ministers meeting, probable ministers meeting at the Prime Minister's residence. Also, Chandrasekhar. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who lost the election in Kerala. So these are some of the names also who have been dropped from the Union Cabinet. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, we leave it there. Thanks very much, Dibyendu Mandal, with those inputs. Now, still to come here on DD India News Hour. Rashtrapati Bhavan is all decked up for the oath-taking ceremony. And Prime Minister Modi's third term comes on the back of 13 years at the helm of affairs in Gujarat, so it's 23 years in all. And supporters swelled in Delhi in support of PM Modi's third term. This is history in the making. Watch Doordarshan's live and exclusive coverage from Rashtrapati Bhavan as Narendra Modi is all set to take oath as Prime Minister for the third time in a row, along with his Council of Ministers. Experience the emotion, the significance, the pride of this monumental day on all channels of Doordarshan from 6 p.m. on 9th of June. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. And Narendra Modi is all set to take oath as the Prime Minister of India for a third consecutive term. And prior to becoming the Prime Minister, he had served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat for 13 years. So in all, he has held a public office at the state and the national levels, at the helm of affairs, for 23 years, which is a record in itself.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the only leader in the broader democratic world post-World War II who has been elected for a third consecutive term, after completing the full tenure of each previous term and with a consistent vote share in each election. There are few leaders in the democratic world who have had the opportunity to win 2 or more consecutive elections after the Second World War. Former US President Barack Obama won 2 consecutive terms in 2008 and 2012, but his vote percentage dropped in second time. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has also won the elections 3 times in a row in 2015, 19 and 21. But for the second time, his government could not complete its tenure. Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also achieved these 3 consecutive victories in 2012, 14 and 17. Before this, he was also the Prime Minister in 2006 and 7. But none of his governments could complete their tenure.
The victory in the 2024 general elections are all owing to the Prime Minister Modi, his popularity. As you all know, around the world, his ratings for last several years have been no less than 77-78% around the world. So that speaks for itself.
Margaret Thatcher, also known as Iron Lady of Britain, won the 3 elections in a row in 1979, 1983 and 1987. But none of her governments could complete their tenure and their vote percentage kept falling in every election. Similarly, Tony Blair also won the elections in Britain 3 consecutive times in 1997, 2001 and 2005. But like Thatcher, none of his governments could complete their tenure. In Australia, John Howard won 4 elections in 1996, 98, 2001 and 2004. His first government could not complete its term and the vote percentage declined in the second election. In Germany, Angela Merkel won 4 elections in 2005, 2009, 13 and 17, but her vote percentage dropped in the second election. Vishal Baristo's report for DD India.
Well, behind Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic victory is years of perseverance, from humble beginnings to his emergence as a global leader. Modi's journey continues to inspire the nation.
He is the man of the moment, Narendra Damodar Das Modi, a name synonymous with modern Indian politics, has once again led the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, to a sweeping victory, and this is not the first time that his party has won.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा.
He again made a comeback in 2019.
मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा.
Born on September 17, 1950 in Vadnagar, Gujarat, Prime Minister Modi is a figure whose political journey is intriguing as well as inspiring. Rising from humble beginnings, his ascent through the ranks of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh (RSS) to the BJP and eventually to the Prime Minister office in the country is a testament to his tenacity, vision and unwavering commitment to public service. His upbringing in a modest family instilled in him values of discipline, hard work and service to the nation, shaping his future endeavours. In 2001, he became the Chief Minister of Gujarat, a position he held until 2013. His tenure as the Chief Minister is often regarded as a transformative period for the state, marked by rapid economic growth, infrastructure development and social initiatives. Under his leadership, Gujarat emerged as one of India's most prosperous and industrialized states, attracting investments and generating employment opportunities. In 2014, his campaign was built on the promise of Achhe Din, which is good days, focusing on economic reforms, anti-corruption and national security. PM Modi's tenure has seen significant initiatives such as introduction of Goods and Services Tax (GST), Digital India Campaign, Swachh Bharat, Clean India and Make in India. His foreign policy maneuvers have also redefined India's position on the global stage.
Prime Minister Modi is the boss.
Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, was right when he said the time is not for war. It is the time for sovereign equal states to cope together with the challenges we face.
Modi has done an unbelievable job in India. I mean, literally, and I know, the liberal press here, they beat the hell out of him. He's taken 400 million people out of poverty.
As his party wins the third term, his supporters celebrate. The nation watches closely, anticipating the next chapter in his remarkable political saga.
Now let's look at some other ministers. Amit Shah is a senior BJP leader and has served as Home Minister of India in the 17th Lok Sabha. He was sworn in as a minister of the Gujarat government in 2002. And he was later appointed as the National General Secretary of the BJP in 2013 and served as the party's president, one of the most influential presidents of the party from 2014 to 2020. Rajnath Singh is a senior BJP leader and had served as Defence Minister of India in the 17th Lok Sabha. He served in several key ministries of defence, home affairs in the Prime Minister Modi's cabinet. He served as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He served as the National President of the Bharatiya Janata Party quite a few times. And he had also served in the cabinet of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Sarbalwad Sonowal has served as the 14th Chief Minister of Assam between 2016 and 2021. He had defeated the Assam Jatiya Parishad candidate and won the 2024 elections from Dibrugarh by a huge margin in Assam of 2.5 lakh votes. He was the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways in the outgoing 17th Lok Sabha, also the Minister of Ayush. And before that, he was the first Chief Minister of Assam from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, born into a political family, Chirag Paswan contested the Lok Sabha polls for the first time in 2014, winning the Jamui seat in the eastern state of Bihar. His father, Ram Vilas Paswan, was a union minister and the founder of the Lok Janshakti Party. Chirag Paswan again won from Jamui in 2019 elections. In the 2024 general elections, he won from Bihar's Hajipur, which was for long his father's constituency. Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is the residence of India's president, has been decorated for the inauguration of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The sprawling building has been transformed into a visual delight with colorful lights displaying the splendor of the occasion. Preparations are in full swing for the ceremony as the historic venue is adorned with intricate lights and vibrant decorations that reflect India's rich cultural heritage. Let's take a look now at updates on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inauguration. Supporters across the nation are jubilant and they are coming out to celebrate the upcoming oath ceremony of Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi. Supporters in the national capital of New Delhi are celebrating the victory of Narendra Modi. The much-awaited event is scheduled to take place at the prestigious Rashtrapati Bhavan later this evening. And BJP leaders from Varanasi also performed Ganga Puja for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This ritual, held on the banks of the sacred Ganga river, is to mark reverence and also to show support for Modi as he prepares for his upcoming oath ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So still to come here on DD India News Hour. South Korea to start loudspeaker broadcasts directed at North Korea because North Korea has sent balloons of trash into South Korea. UK's ruling Conservative Party has tightened sickness benefit rules ahead of the elections. Rescue efforts intensify for a British TV presenter who's gone missing in the hills of the Greek island of Symi.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. India is to witness history in the making as Prime Minister designate Modi is set to take office for a third consecutive term. Rashtrapati Bhavan is all decked up for the historic event. Leaders from India's neighborhood arrive expressing support for India's neighborhood first policy. European nations to finish voting today to determine the shape and form of the European Parliament over the next 5 years. The much anticipated T20 World Cup clash between India and Pakistan is to take place in New York tonight. The Americans are to see cricket rivalry at its best. Now, voters in 21 European Union countries, including France and Germany, will conclude a 4-day election for the European Parliament today. It will define the EU Parliament's political makeup for the next 5 years. The election will shape how the bloc of 450 million citizens confronts challenges, including a hostile Russia, increased industrial rivalry from China, climate change and immigration. Results are expected at around 11:45 p.m. India time or 18:15 GMT. Well, let's listen to what our correspondent has sent us.
Millions of French voters are going to the polls today, Sunday the 9th of June, to cast their ballots for who they want to represent them as their MEP or member of the European Parliament for the next 5 years in Brussels. All the pre-election polls had the National Rally in first place in France, set to get around 30 to 35% of the vote if those pre-election surveys do turn out to be correct. The National Rally are a populist nationalist movement, a far-right party led by young Jordan Bardella, but with Marine Le Pen as their most recognisable politician. Emmanuel Macron, the president, will be hoping for a much better performance from his party than the polls have been predicting, set to give him and his Renaissance party around 15% of the vote, also 15% for the socialist grouping being led by leftist MP Raphael Glucksmann. Now, across the whole EU, in a broader context, we also have the race to be the next president of the European Commission. Ursula von der Leyen has been doing that job since 2019, and she is running for another 5-year term, hoping to win that race to be the next de facto leader of the European Union. The polls across the whole of the 27-member bloc will be closing on Sunday evening, and then late on Sunday into early hours of Monday, local time here in Europe, we should start to get a sense of the results. Ross Cullen in Paris, reporting for DD India.
Greeks cast their votes to select new members of the European Parliament over the next 5 years on Sunday. Polling stations opened at 4 GMT, 4 in the morning GMT, and will close at 1600 hours GMT. Voters will elect candidates for 21 seats in the European Parliament from Greece, and 46 parties are participating. Now, Greeks from the age group, from the age of 17, they are eligible to vote, and for the first time this year, voters can cast their ballots by post. And the ruling centre-right New Democracy Party has comfortably led so far in the latest polls. Polls also show Greeks rank high prices amid low wages as their main concern. Hungarians also cast their votes to elect members of the European Parliament on Sunday. The latest surveys put support for Prime Minister Viktor Orban's right-wing Fidesz at 44% to 48% of the vote. The political newcomer Peter Magyar's right of centre Tizia or Tizza party is polling at about 23% to 29% range. Other news now, South Korea has begun loudspeaker broadcasts at its border which are directed against North Korea. This is in response to the resumption of balloons being sent across by Pyongyang that contain trash in it. So the officials said that North Korea has resumed sending balloons carrying trash over the border into South Korea, and dozens of balloons with trash attached were found in Seoul in the areas near the border overnight and early on Sunday. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party is facing an election next month, but they've announced details of a plan to tighten sickness benefit rules. The government said that the rules would eventually save more than $15 billion a year. Sunak, who has previously said that he wants to change welfare rules to counter a rise in people dropping out of the workforce, said that his reforms represented a model mission as well as a way to help fix the public finances. The plan included an increase in mental health services, more stringent assessments of people's ability to work, and tougher rules for people who refuse to take up suitable jobs. Ireland's two main coalition parties looked set to soundly beat Sinn Féin in the local council elections. It seems to be a surprise and also a potentially devastating blow to the left-wing party's hopes for its first victory in national election due by March. Now, failing to enter government for a first time would be a setback to Sinn Féin's ambition of seeking a referendum on unifying with Northern Ireland. Counting is going to continue on Sunday, along with the first results of the European Parliament election. Voting took place on Friday as more than 2,100 candidates vied for 949 seats on 31 local councils. The number of immigrants caught illegally crossing the US-Mexico border dropped on Friday. It signaled that a new US government policy was deterring illegal immigration. The US border guards arrested more than 3,000 illegal immigrants, down 20% from the days before. Immigration has emerged as a top issue for the US voters in the months before the 5th of November US presidential election. Haiti's new interim Prime Minister Gary Conille was hospitalized with respiratory issues on Saturday but appeared to be in a stable condition. Conille, who took office just over a week ago, was rushed to hospital after suffering breathing problems. The 58-year-old had briefly led the country over a decade ago and was most recently a former regional director at the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF. He was named interim Prime Minister on May 29 by a transition council with a mandate to restore stability and take back control from violent gangs. Virgin Galactic's VSS Unity spaceplane conducted its 32nd and final commercial mission on Saturday, taking 4 astronauts on to a suborbital space flight. The tourist astronauts could be seen floating in microgravity and looking at the breathtaking views of the Earth. The mission took off from the spaceport in America in New Mexico, and it returned to the same place. The flight to the edge of space and back marked Virgin Galactic's second flight this year, and this was the 7th commercial flight for the VSS Unity and the 12th flight overall. The company will now focus on building its first Delta-class ships that are expected to be used commercially in 2026. U.S. astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, they offered a tour around the Boeing Starliner that docked at the International Space Station. The flight test will help validate the transportation system, launch pads, pad rockets, spaceport, in-orbit operation capabilities, as well as return to Earth with astronauts on board as the agency prepares to certify Starliner for rotational missions to the space station. Starliner previously flew 2 uncrewed orbital flights, including a test to and from the space station, along with a pad abort demonstration. Let's take a look now at other stories making the news around the world. A seaplane attempting to take off collided with a passenger boat on Saturday near Cole Harbour in Canada. Several individuals from both vessels were injured and subsequently transported to local hospitals for treatment. Thousands of dead fish blanketed the surface of a lagoon in Mexico. It happened during a long dry spell as temperatures have climbed above 40 degrees Celsius. Some form of drought is afflicting the area and nearly 90% of Mexico, which is the highest rate since 2011. A monument to a Mercedes-Benz car has got unveiled in Croatia, honoring the thousands of migrant workers who sought better fortunes and also returned home, driving the German car, which is a symbol of success. Rescuers continued searching for a British TV presenter, Michael Mosley, on the mountains of the Greek island of Symi. And this is the 3rd day of this operation, which was launched after he was reported missing by his wife. Police, Coast Guard and volunteers have been searching on and off the island and the Eastern Aegean Sea. Now, still to come here on DD India News Hour. Senior Research Director at IDC says artificial intelligence is going to create new types of jobs. A total of 798 cases of dengue are reported in Sri Lanka. And the next-gen stars, Alcaraz and Zverev, are going to battle it out for the French Open title today.
Welcome to Delhi. Narrator of umpteen tales. Creator of historic folklore. To the Delhi of today that is proud of its past. To the Delhi of tomorrow that's charting a glorious future. To lanes, to foods, to ever-changing city moods. To walls, to historic gates, and everything in between. To art, to theatre, and an ode to the inner creator. To bhavans, to path, to melting pot of cultures, to a kaleidoscope of celebrations. to ghazals, to guftagus, to green spaces, to shrines, to deities, to devotion, to hope, to the city that is the heart of India. To the India that the world knows by its philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, as we unite under
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
This is history in the making. Watch Doordarshan's live and exclusive coverage from Rashtrapati Bhavan, as Narendra Modi is all set to take oath as Prime Minister for the third time in a row, along with his Council of Ministers. Experience the emotion, the significance, the pride of this monumental day on all channels of Doordarshan from 6 p.m. on 9th of June. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. At a seminar titled Future is Exciting, hosted by the Consulate General of India in Dubai, it highlighted the potential of artificial intelligence to create new types of jobs and to enhance access to healthcare services. Senior Research Director at IDC, Harish Dunakhe, said that artificial intelligence is going to create new types of jobs. We will have roles in marketing, content creation and PR, is what he said. He added that management jobs, particularly in healthcare, are going to be elevated.
We will be able to predict, forecast and prepare ourselves for any kind of healthcare issues that will happen with the population of, let's say, UAE or Saudi Arabia or India for that matter, because of the climatic changes that we are seeing, because of the food preferences that you touched upon earlier. So we are eating this kind of food now, and let's say by 2030 we keep on eating that food. What will be the healthcare issues happening in 2030? So His Highnesses and his team can prepare for healthcare. That will happen, predict and forecast and prepare in 2030. So that's a phenomenal power of artificial intelligence.
In Sri Lanka, a total of 798 cases of dengue were reported across the island nation over the past 7 days. The reporting of these cases is being attributed to severe rains and flash floods, which have led to more potential mosquito breeding sites. As of the 8th of June, a total of 25,718 cases have been reported in the current year, with the highest number being from Colombo district, which stood at around 5,600. Now, the Western province has also recorded over 9,400 cases, the highest province-wise. As several parts of Sri Lanka have experienced significant rainfall for the past few days, health officials and the National Dengue Control Unit have urged people to keep their surroundings clean and destroy mosquito breeding places in order to keep dengue at bay. Time now for the sports news. And week 2 of the 2024 T20 World Cup brings us a showdown like no other. The arch rivals India and Pakistan will face off at the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium in New York on Sunday. These two form one of the most intense rivalries in all sport, and the temporary 34,000-seater stadium in East Meadows expected to be packed to capacity for what has been dubbed as a Super Bowl on steroids. Tapas Bhattacharya reports from New York.
When India and Pakistan take to the field, it transcends sport and becomes pure emotion. India came into the T20 World Cup looking to end their pattern of near misses in international competitions. Having come painfully close to glory in recent tournaments, but ultimately falling short at crucial moments. The men in blue mean business this year and made a positive start to the campaign by defeating Ireland. India has won 6 and lost only one T20 World Cup match against Pakistan, which included a famous final victory in the first ever tournament held in South Africa in 2007. The sole defeat came in the pandemic-delayed 2021 edition, marking Pakistan's first ever World Cup win in any format against India. Rohit Sharma's injury in the final match has raised questions about the state of the pitch in Nassau County.
जब हम क्यूरेटर से बात कर रहे थे यहाँ पे, वो भी काफ़ी कंफ्यूज थे कि पिच कैसा खेलेगा, कितना घास निकालना चाहिए, कितना नहीं निकालना चाहिए. तो अगर उन्हें इतना कंफ्यूजन है तो इमेजिन हमें कितना कंफ्यूजन रह सकता है. तो आई थिंक बेसिकली जब आप ऐसे ग्राउंड पे खेलते हो तो आपका फोकस होना चाहिए कि एक एक बॉल पर कि ये बॉल आ रहा है, इसको मुझे कैसे खेलना है, कैसे रन बनाना है.
At first glance, it's an uneven track that looks ideal for pace bowling, something Pakistan will need to capitalize on after their shocking loss to World Cup debutants, United States. Following a dismal ODI World Cup, Babar Azam's side faces a similar fate in T20 World Cup.
Yeah, I don't like to harp on history too much. We need to make sure we play the best cricket we can now. We're going to go out there and make sure we do the best that we can with our skill sets and how we can put pressure on the opposition. I mean, that's what we would want to do.
Sunday's match marks the first time these neighbouring nations will play against each other in the US, which is co-hosting the T20 tournament for the first time.
It's India versus Pakistan in the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup, and it doesn't get bigger than this. Under the leadership of Rohit Sharma, India will like to keep their winning juggernaut continue. While for Pakistan, it's a make or break time. For both teams, they will keep one eye on the 22-yard strip in the middle. With camperson S. Jayashankar, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from New York.
Okay, Tapas Bhattacharya is joining us from New York City with more. Tapas, so, I mean, what's the atmosphere like? Are the Americans taking to cricket? After all, they're going to see the best rivalry in cricket history.
Well, it's too soon to say that whether Americans will take to cricket. They are definitely looking up to this marquee clash for the simple reason we see everywhere India-Pakistani fans, and that actually is getting the Americans excited that exactly what is happening. They knew about cricket, but they didn't know that this is such a popular sport. In fact, when we told them that this is one of the most watched sports, not just in Asia, but in the world, they were quite surprised. So, in that sense, America is slowly catching up, and with the victory of United States over Pakistan in the first match of the league in their particular group game, it will be the American team. America actually is now looking up to more such upsets, and who knows, in a few years' time we will have more cricket tournaments playing in New York, Dallas, and other places which is considered hub of baseball.
Right, Tapas, is the pitch so unpredictable that the Pakistani fast bowlers can cause some sort of damage to the Indian batting lineup?
Well, it can be vice versa too. The Indian bowlers can also have a major damage, can cause major damage to the Pakistani side. See, the point is that it's not your what you call typical T20 wicket. It suits pacers because this particular pitch hasn't been bedded yet with the outfield. The outfield is also not that fast. It has the sand and beneath, so the ball doesn't travel that fast that we generally see in let's say in IPL or in other tournaments across the globe. The pitch actually came right from Australia, and it generally takes 10 to 15 matches. So you have to play 10 to 15 practice matches to get it accustomed or better with the outfield. But here it just came and the matches started. In fact, the match that is the pitch where India-Pakistan match will take place, so will be the first time that pitch will be used. So nobody knows exactly what happened. The toss will become very crucial. If a team wins the toss, they will like to bowl first, and with under overcast condition, the ball is expected to move a lot and expected to cause trouble for the batsman.
Any changes likely in the Indian squad?
Well, so far doesn't look like there will be any change, but one believes that if there is any, we might just find Kuldeep Yadav being coming into the playing 11 in place of Akshar Patel. But so far we haven't yet got any update yet. We were told that if there is any change, that might just be the only one. The top two remains the same. Virat Kohli will open with Rohit Sharma. That has been quite categorically been told by Captain Rohit Sharma. And then will come Rishabh Pant in the first down. He is a left-hander, so it will give him a left-hand, right-hand combination. And then the team management will decide which player can come in what particular period of time in the match. So they're keeping it very flexible, but top two remains the same. And Rishabh Pant will come after that. And so far what we can tell you is that this particular Indian team looks very good and quite balanced on paper. And it's going to be a Herculean task for the Pakistani team. In T20 World Cup, India-Pakistan have played 7 times. 6 times men in blue have come out triumph. So they would like to keep their winning momentum going in this particular tournament.
We leave it there. Thanks very much. Tapas Bhattacharya joining us from New York.
Much
it's
appreciated.
a great match that we're all waiting for. Now that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.